Hey, I'm Av. My pronouns are they, he. I'm a consumer representative, mostly based on the Central Coast Local Health District.
My name is Jess Smith. I'm a proud Wiradjuri woman living and working in a little village called Tarcutta, not too far from Wagga. Currently acting as the Aboriginal and Cultural Diversity Engagement Officer at the ACI.
So I'm Jenny. I work full time in early childhood and have been a carer of an adult son with multiple mental health conditions for the past 15 years, and I live in Wollongong.
My name is Ash, or you can call me Ashwini. I'm a migrant here in Australia.
Hi, my name's Jed. I'm the Community Engagement Manager with Northern New South Wales Local Health District.
My name's Sam Dart, and I live in a little small community of about 500 people in the Riverina area of New South Wales.
I was lucky enough to be a part of the design crew, so working with a wonderful group of people from all different backgrounds and participating in working up the development of this consumer engagement framework.
The role that we had through the process was to really, I guess, test drive the principles and the processes of good engagement.
When I was first read about the crew and all of the stuff that was involved, and I was like, oh, this is super, super interesting, but what would I be able to contribute to this? And I was a little bit overwhelmed thinking about all of the stuff that might be involved, and will I be good enough to be a part of this? And when I met with Ka and Sue, I was just so relieved that they were both so great with giving plenty of information out and really making sure that everybody was prepared and organised and aware of what to expect.
Because Sue was my first point of contact, I believe, and there was an immediate warmth, kindness, but also an excitement behind her to have me, and I'm sure others involved, as my other experiences had kind of just been a very generic email sent out along with many people that basically worked in New South Wales Health. So yeah, I guess I kind of felt in those instances felt like sort of a very small fish in a big pond full of whales.
I really, really enjoyed the experience, and also being able to see everybody's voices being heard, and watching our group come together and really build on each other's contributions.
The pace that was there in the sessions, the breaks, kind of checking in with all of us, how we're feeling, where we're at. And
Coming into the sessions, I wouldn't think that I've ever been asked kind of what my number was, or how I was, or that kind of checking in thing that you did. So I think that was another step in feeling welcomed and feeling safe and cared for, if you will.
Just came as you, and you were allowed to come as you, and that meant that you were genuine and honest.
Safety in those virtual rooms was amazing, and it's probably the most safe I've ever felt in a group. So if that safety wasn't there for me, I may not have come to the second and third workshops. I may have felt that my contribution wasn't important. I may have attended, and I may have just not said anything because I was concerned. I don't think that I would have been able to participate in the activities. I don't think I would have been able to voice my opinions and perspectives. And therefore, my contribution wouldn't have been included in the process.
The thing that stood out the most for me was the facilitators were clearly interested in gaining the insights of a diverse range of people and regularly provided evidence of where those insights had been included.
Well, that was the other thing that I guess about this project I experienced it as a very different power shift, or it was a real. It felt much more consumer and community led.
I think when the person facilitating the group makes an effort to use inclusive language and make it aware that you're welcome to challenge ideas, but do it in a respectful way. Sometimes I have so many questions that if don't have someone to ask, then I'll just be like, oh, I just can't do this thing, because I'm a person who needs to ask questions to understand things.
It was you made us feel we were not under any pressure. Okay, so at any point, if people needed to have breakout times or were not able to be involved, they weren't under any pressure.
Look, I thought it was a really fun project to participate in. It had a really modern and inclusive feel, and so this, as you can probably tell, it's not my first rodeo, and I've worked in many corporate roles for more than 3 decades and attended more workshops than I can remember. But this was a very different process for me, and it was one I enjoyed immensely.
Another thing that really surprised me was I was sitting at home and I get this package in the mail that's got some markers and glue and bits of real life paper cut up and big bits of paper, and that was really cool. That really surprised me because I've never done anything like this before in a working group, and we had the opportunity to really think differently.
It really made it, thinking the word I'm looking for, interactive, I guess. It wasn't just, oh, we're going to sit there and we're going to listen to the facilitators just go on and on. It really had a feeling of a group project.
I think what for me something like Core Ingredients do is offer up the platform or the foundations by which we all should be kind of using that as a reference to kind of do our local work in our unique context.
We talked about some key ingredients when it comes to working with consumers, and we looked at it as a recipe. What makes up good engagement, and how do we work well with people? And I did my recipe on working with Aboriginal communities. Recipe was a little bit like sourdough, so something that takes quite a bit of time at the start.
We're not corporate workers, we're not clinicians, we are just people from different backgrounds. Some of us employed, some of us unemployed. I think when it comes to framework, it needs to just be put in a way that is easily accessible for everybody and not just people who understand the system they're working with.
I think one of the things that I've learned from working in health, both in Queensland and New South Wales, is that there's a lot of people doing stuff, and they're doing a lot of the same stuff differently. So, I think one of the important aspects of this work is to, I think, provide us with a common language, hopefully help standardise a lot of the processes and the ways that we engage with our communities. I think the other thing I've learned is that health districts are all at various stages of maturity, and I think having a process that can help wherever you are in that maturity cycle.
So I'm hoping the next steps for this wonderful sort of process that New South Wales Health and the project sponsors and were able to offer up. I'm hoping that they could kind of carry this forward with giving people more tangible sort of things to refer to and celebrate. Actually, the amount of just looking at the great work that they're doing and celebrating and reflecting doesn't happen enough. So wouldn't it be wonderful just to kind of take these principles and this framework, and maybe even just use that as a reflective practice.
The process was so unique. I've never done anything like that before.